Hello, hello. I'm just laughing to myself right now. I'm a member of a users group of this software for live streaming on YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook. And they have various people that show best practices. They hold live events that we can attend and ask questions. One of the things they recommend is that you set so you have a countdown timer to the start of your event, which, as you can see, we have. But they think you should have the camera on you as you're dancing around, bopping around and dancing to the music before your event starts. And there's no way I'll be doing that. I'm laughing about it because I'm looking at our countdown timer and screen, thinking maybe it'd be better if you could see me and I'm dancing around to the music. Not gonna happen. I do not feel that's the best practice. So welcome. Let's go ahead. Make sure that we have the extra light resistance on right now, as light as you can get it. Remember, those of you with a fixed gear spin bike, always have some resistance on. Never ride it without any resistance on. So get a little bit of resistance on right now. And just move your legs at a nice moderate speed. And I'd like you to sit up like I am. This does a couple things for us. It separates the upper body and the lower body, so our hips learn to move independent of the upper body. But more importantly to me anyway, right now, is that the weight of my upper body is centered along the spine, and I can feel it going all the way down into the hips. And at the same time, I can relax my shoulders and just let them fall to the side like this, and my hands are just dangling down. It gives me the opportunity to really focus on releasing tension in the shoulders and the neck. At the same time, I can then breathe from my relaxed belly. And it just gives us a minute to center ourselves and get our minds into what we're doing and away from all those things that, as Mary Oliver's poem says, pulling at your legs, pulling at your ankles. We can be right here, right now, with the bike. Let's bring our hands now to the handlebars and just rest them softly there. And as we do it, we're going to make sure that our elbows are slightly bent and our shoulders stay away from the ears. They stay down and relaxed. Now checking your resistance. I'm going to add just a tiny bit because with this freewheel bike, I have too little to keep it smooth as I accelerate my legs. But let's go ahead and keeping the lightest resistance possible. Let's just bring our leg speed up to around 85 or so if you have a computer on your bike. If you don't, that's fine. Just match my leg speed. We're just trying to get a flat road kind of pedal speed with extremely light resistance so that we can loosen up the legs. One of the things I notice during the warm-up is that I feel more suppleness and smoothness come into the muscles of the legs. So I want you to just take the next 30 seconds or so to tune into the muscles of your legs and how they feel, and notice the warmth coming into them. And you may notice at the same time that your breath is picking up just slightly, just a little bit. Now let's speed the legs up a little bit more. So now we're at or above, say 92 or 3. We're at or above that. Not at 100, but above 90. And we're feeling for that smoothness in the pedal stroke. It's a really good time now to incorporate that idea of decoupling the upper body and the lower body. So notice yourself. How strongly you're holding on to the handlebars. How much is your upper body moving around? And if you can, try to keep your upper body calm and relaxed like mine is. I can feel the warmth coming into muscles in my legs now. I feel a more smooth pedal stroke starting to happen. Over the last few days, my lower back and glutes have been really tight, almost painful. And I can feel some looseness coming into them now. Nice. Let's just stay here for a few more seconds, doing our best to stay in the moment, stay in touch with our body, noticing the breath. In 3, and 2, and 1. Let's just slow down our legs and sit up again. This time we're going to shake out the shoulders. And we're going to shake out the arms. Yeah, my back is much looser already, I can tell. We have a jazzy playlist today. It's all going to be kind of jazzy. All right, let's come back to the handlebars and let's get our minds prepared for doing a little work now. So again, check your body position. Starting with your hands through the elbows and shoulders, through the neck and the spine, keeping that very neutral. Let's bring our legs up to around 90 RPM again. Now, let's add some work. So turn your resistance knob or lever to the point where you feel that work enter the muscles of the legs as they are overcoming that resistance. And I love that. I love that we have to pay attention to our bodies to feel that. It's important. That's why I don't say, give me a half turn or a quarter turn. I want you to feel the work. And anyway, a half turn on your bike is not going to be the same amount of resistance as a half turn on mine. So we feel. That's part of being body aware when we work out. And my breath is picking up from that now. I can feel it. I'll have to name this class Jazzy Mindful Cycling Ride when I save it. Now we've added resistance from the first time we were at 90 RPM. Let's take our pedal speed up to 100. 100 RPM. So this both increases the work and causes us to have to pay attention to the hips, because once we get to around 100 RPM, our hips want to start to bounce. And I want you to focus on keeping those hips stable on the saddle. They can be dynamic, but stable, not bouncing. Notice what happens to the breath as we do this. And 3, and 2, and 1. Go ahead and just slow your legs down again. Keep your resistance just where it is. And just on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being very low, 10 being extremely high, just check in with your breathing. Mine's at a 2, 3, somewhere in there. I can feel my heart definitely has accelerated. I can feel it in my chest. All right, back to our handlebars. Same resistance, we're still at 90 RPM now. I want us to settle in. If this resistance is not causing you to breathe harder and just a tiny bit of discomfort in the muscles of the legs, add a little bit. If you're finding this extremely difficult and you're hugely out of breath, take some out. What we want to do here is settle in a little bit to a flat road kind of effort. And just notice what happens with the muscles of the legs. Notice what happens to the breathing as we continue this. Little by little, my breathing is picking up now. Little by little, the discomfort in the muscles of the legs is building. It's still very doable what I'm holding here, but I can feel the tiniest bit of fatigue is coming in now. It's perfect, just where I want to be. That's where I want you to be. And you might want to, at this point, start to think about maybe just working to extend your pedal stroke through the bottom a little bit more. I know that's physically impossible to do, but mentally, it makes a difference in how we engage with the pedal stroke. If we think about extending through the bottom, applying force and then scraping through the bottom. Starting to sweat now. How about you? Check in with that. So we're covering ground on our bikes. That's what we're doing. This is like riding outdoors. Getting a gear that we can sustain a while and covering some ground. So if you track your miles during a class, what we're doing now tends to build up the mileage for a given amount of riding. Just like we were going fast. If we were going fast on a flat road on our bikes. You can hear my breathing, right? Let's pick it up. It's perfect. This is how I want you to be. As we're going along here, you'll notice things changing. I'm noticing sweat happening. I'm noticing breath getting more rapid. I'm noticing legs feeling hotter, warmer, and some tiredness coming into them. This all shifts as we hold this kind of effort. These are beautiful things to tune into. All runners, rowers, cyclists, Nordic skiers, swimmers. Pay attention to these kinds of things when they're on their long rides or swims. It's rewarding. We've got about a minute to go at this effort. Can you join me in adding even more work right now? For this last minute or so, just turn that knob a little bit till you feel it in your muscles. And then if you feel like it, you can close your eyes and just focus on relaxing the upper body and breathing deeply. Your mind will wander during this. There's no question it will wander. But I want you to notice when it does. And don't beat yourself up about it. Just notice it. And then come back to the feelings of the muscles and the breath. It happens to me. I just notice it and come back. And now let's dial down our resistance. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. Compare your breathing to mine if you like. We're now going to mindfully, meditatively climb a hill. So let's prepare ourselves for that. What I just said, climb a hill, created a thought and a response in you. Notice what that was. Just notice it. So when we climb a hill in a RevoCycle class, we start off in the saddle usually, and we turn the resistance till it's hard to keep the pedals turning at 60 to 70 RPM. That's the feeling of climbing a hill. It's uncomfortable from the very beginning. So let's come back to our handlebars, add in resistance, and set our legs at 60 to 70 RPM. If you don't have a computer, just watch my legs. They'll be at this is about 64 RPM. About. Plus or minus a few. My breath picked up immediately from this. And I can feel my hips pushing through the heels over the top. People on spin bikes, new to RevoCycle, press with your hips through the top. If you want, you can feel your glutes. Make sure they're engaging over the top. And of course, we're scraping mud off the bottom of our feet by engaging the calves and the hamstrings. All right, what's your breath doing now? What's your mind doing now? Are you thinking, this is hard? If so, perfect. This is a hill. Now you see I put my hands to the middle. I do this whenever I climb a hill. I still keep my elbows bent. It just gets my back into a slightly more upright position, which is then good for engaging the hips and the glutes. And like on a real hill, all we have is one pedal stroke at the time. That's all we have. Just the next few feet on the road. I make it a practice to never look at the top of the hill. I always just look at the next 5-10 feet. I try to get my mind into a meditative state. Your legs should be quite uncomfortable right now. Sweat definitely happening. Breathing accelerated. Adjust your resistance if that's not the case for you. I want you to think like this. If I said we had to hold this for another 10 minutes, your answer would be, oh no. I don't think I could do that. That's where I want you to be. I know. We won't do it for that long. I know. It's hard. This is a beautiful time to feel the engagement of all the muscles all the way around the pedal stroke. Glutes, quads, calves, hamstrings. I just reached the point where my legs are starting to struggle with holding this rhythm. And my mind is now going, geez, how much longer can you hold this? I just reached that point. You notice as I grab the towel, my upper body doesn't go out of control because this is all driven from the hips down. My upper body is still relaxed. Hands just resting on the bars. We're getting close to the end. It's coming up. Stay with me if you can. If you're losing the rhythm, go ahead and take some resistance out. Beautifully done. Dial it back to light resistance. Remember we did an assessment of our breathing on a scale of 1 to 10. A little bit earlier. Let's do it again. There's no hiding my breathing. I'm at 8 or so. And before I was at 2, or maybe 3, I think. But I'm speaking in short sentences now because that's how out of breath I am. So compare that to how you feel. And if you're new to Revo Cycle classes, your goal then would be to get that kind of combination of resistance and pedal speed over time that would result in you being out of breath just like I am. That's the feeling. When you're ready, have some water. Take a couple seconds more if you need to, but when you're ready, let's get back onto the handlebars and into a beautiful flat road position. And bring our legs back up to 90 RPM at light resistance this time. We're just spinning a little of that bloated feeling out of the muscles of the legs, you know what I mean? Just spinning it out a little bit with light contractions of the muscles. Smooth, smooth pedal stroke. And I want you to notice that feeling going away. This is another way of practicing body awareness. Notice that feeling leaving your legs. Notice your breath slowing down. Okay. I'm going to take just a little stretch. You are welcome to do this anytime you want. But I'm just going to stand and drop my heels a little bit. My calves get a little tight. And sitting on the saddle can get uncomfortable after a little while, so feel free to do that anytime during class. Just stop, stand up, drop your heels at the 3 and 9 o'clock position. All right. We're going to do a fast, flat road section that's not really long. And then we're going to hit a very steep hill that requires us to come out of the saddle multiple times. That's what we're doing now. And again, notice how that makes you feel. Notice what your thoughts are when you hear that. They're fine, whatever they are. Noticing them is the key. All right, I'm bringing my legs up to 90 RPM. And I'm going to dial in resistance now. That feels like I've found a very difficult gear on my bike at 90 RPM. Harder than the last time, but the effort will be much shorter. So this is definitely feeling harder. than that last flat road piece we did. Quick body scan, starting with your hands. Move your way up the arms, through the elbows, decoupling your upper body from the lower body. All right, here comes the steep part of the hill. Slow your legs, add the resistance, and move your hands to the middle of the handlebars. If you have a computer, let's get your cadence between 60 and 70, whatever feels comfortable in that range. And get your resistance up to where you're struggling. You're breathing hard like me. This is just a perfect opportunity to just close your eyes if that's a comfortable thing for you to do. We're going to stand up out of the saddle. Remember, in RevoCycle classes, we add resistance before or as we're standing out of the saddle, so that it's too much for us to pedal seated, and we need to use our body weight by standing. All right, take a deep breath. Exhale in 3, 2, 1. Add resistance. Rise into it, stay nice and tall, hands are light. This should be about the limit of what you can do. Let's dial it back and come back into our seated climb. I don't have a heart rate monitor on now, but I can tell you, I'm at 160 or more at this moment. I just know. All right, coming up again in 3, and 2, and 1. Crank the resistance, ease out onto it, nice and tall. Ease your resistance back and sit back down. Still climbing. Five pedal strokes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your resistance all the way back down to light. Keep your legs turning. My breath was so high that I moved the microphone away from my mouth, so you didn't have to hear me gasping for air. I'm now monitoring my breath slowing. I can breathe well enough now that you don't have to listen to me gasping for air. So we're into cool down now. We're intentionally at light resistance. We're intentionally pedaling the bike very slowly. And I'm sitting up. You're welcome to do this. I love this sitting up position again. And I'm just monitoring how the legs feel, the pedal speed, my breathing, the weight through my spine to the seat. It's like this dashboard of gauges. And I'm just monitoring them. Now I invite you to slow your legs a little bit more. Just take that work out of the muscles and allow the heart and the breathing to slow. And again, assign a number to your breathing, 1 to 10. 1 being just woke up, 10 being completely out of breath. I'm down to 1.5, maybe 1. And let's just allow our legs to slow to a stop. And as we sit up nice and tall, we can close our eyes if it's comfortable. And just pay attention to your body. You'll notice all kinds of things. I'm noticing a buzzing feeling in my legs. I'm noticing that I'm feeling cool now because my arms are all sweaty and they're cooling my body off. I notice that I'm more calm and peaceful than when we started earlier today. I'm noticing my sit bones hurt. This is normal. This is normal in cycling. All right. Let's stretch by starting with our calves. Just bring your feet to 3 and 9 o'clock position and then rise up and lower your heels to feel a slight stretch in the calves. I think my head disappears from the screen when I stand up like this. I think I should fix that, but I kind of like the view we have when I'm seated. Let's rotate the foot in the back to the front and drop your heels again. And just feel that really nice stretch in your calves. All right, we're going to switch to stretching our quads and our hamstrings. Go ahead and jump off the bike. And standing next to the bike, let's pull back on one of our ankles and feel a stretch in the quads. Just pulling the heel to the glute. And now, let's stretch the other leg. Just pulling back on the heel. And now, let's stretch our hamstrings. Use the handlebars or seat. If you're flexible, if you're not, use the top bar of the bike. But in any case, set your ankle on one of those. And now let's switch to the other leg. Beautiful ride. Beautiful ride. I'll shut off the light. I'll leave the music going for another couple minutes so you can continue to stretch and just decompress. Thank you for joining me. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel down there and turn on notifications so you can get notifications of new rides, new videos uploaded. All right. Enjoy. I'll see you next time.